Hi everyone, I'm Rachel Tessman from StampYourArtOut.com. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Andover, Minnesota in the US, and I'm here to bring you a live paper crafting class. So sorry for the delay. I was having some technical issues and anyways, doesn't matter. We're here and we're starting, and I have some fun card ideas to share with you. Before we start, I just want to model my wig. This is the, what is it? Mira by Amore in Très Chocolat. Tress chocolate, if you want to say it the English weird way, but Très Chocolat. Anyways, I'm excited. I have some shaker cards to share. This is my favorite kind of shaker card to make ever. If you've made shaker cards, you know that they can be thick, they can be bulky, they can be time consuming. This one isn't too much less time consuming, but it's flat and it actually shakes. It's a smooth type of shaker. When you make a faker shaker using a clear envelope and that sort of thing, sometimes the shaker bits don't move as much. In Tulle, they do. It's crazy cool. And so I thought I would bring that back and inspire a lot of you, because we do have some fun sequins that I think if you invest in them, you can make some really pretty shaker cards as well. So welcome everybody. Again, my name is Rachel Tessman from StampYourArtOut.com. And today is Wednesday, September 17th, 2025 at 11 a.m. Central Time as I'm coming to you live. We're going to be using two different bundles. The first one, we're going to go in depth, do the whole card, start to finish, and we'll be using the homemade treats bundle. I actually hesitated on buying this bundle because I thought, Rachel, you can't own it all, right? It's hard. But I just kept looking at it and kept looking at it. I thought, I have to, because I have so many ideas with it. And so we're going to play around with that one. And then I'm going to show you the beautiful pumpkins card and walk you through kind of the step-by-step thinking that I had for that. Maybe show you a couple things on that. But we never have time to do two full cards. This is a technique class. I don't always do technique classes. I do maybe one a month, but then I love too many things paper crafting wise. I love fun fold cards. I love 3D projects. I love scrapbooking. I love all kinds of cards. I love to take kits and do alternates with them. So this is my technique class this month. I hope that you enjoy it. And in the future classes, I'm just going to go through them really quickly here since I have my calendar in front of me on my computer. I have a paper pumpkin kit that should be arriving any day. So my plan is to do alternates with that this coming Saturday. Normally I do them on Wednesdays. Well, not always, but anyways, this Saturday is my next live at 2 p.m. Central Time. So I'll be doing alternates with that kit. And I can see some people already been receiving their kits and making alternates and sharing them online. It's so exciting to see all the creativity out there. Next Wednesday, because I do Wednesdays at 11 a.m. Central Time every week, I'm actually going to be playing with the World Card Making Kit. Handmade and Heartfelt is what it's called. And so in my blog post today, you will see that I said I'm going to do alternates with it the morning of World Card Making Day on October 4th. But I'm too excited to share. So buy that kit and follow along with me, and then you'll be ready for World Card Making Day. You can use the other half of the kit for whatever they share with you. I'm assuming they're going to walk you through the steps of the kit, but they may do something different. I'm not sure, but it's going to be a fun free event, and I encourage you to sign up for that. That's through stampinup.com, and you'll go to their site, and I can show you that later. And then after that, something 3D-ish, because I have some cute ideas in mind. Then fun fold. So a couple weeks from now, we'll be doing a fun fold that I'm doing with my team. So just a variety. I hope that you stick around and enjoy what I share on my channel. All right, so let's move to, I'm going to quit my calendar on my computer here and bring up a PDF that you can actually print off. So check this out. This is on my website right now at StampYourArtOut.com. And it has up here in the corner, it has here, I'm going to shift this. It has the title, the date, and then you can see the measurements are in here, the supplies. These are clickable. You can see when I hover my arrow, it turns into a little pointer finger. You can click on those items and you can shop from this PDF. And then there's pictures of what we're making. So I know it's been a while since I've shared this with you all, and I'm excited that I got back some time. And so here we go. This is a PDF. You can print it off, and it's a good resource for you so that you can go ahead and dive in and start creating. So a big welcome to all of you. Yay. Thanks for the likes. I'm glad that you like this. It's fun to play around with wigs because you can like do the different lengths of your hair. You can have a short hair day. You can have a long hair day. You can have a luxurious curly day. You can have a straight hair day. Everybody should get wigs, even if you don't have alopecia like me. Just play around with them. They're fun. All right. So let's bring in, the supply. Oh, let me show you this first. So this card here, and I'll zoom in so you can see it a little bit closer. Oops, wrong camera. This shaker card is one that I've saved from a few years ago. It was using a paper pumpkin kit, and you can see how smooth those sequins move in that shaker, okay? So it's a real great little way to entrap the shaker pieces that you want to have on your shaker card. And you can see both sides of it. You can see the style that I did here. We're going to do something similar with this. Well, we won't have it on the edge, but you can do that. You can fold your tool and you can have your shaker pieces look like they're gonna fall out, but they won't because you've got a folded piece of tulle there. So tulle is a fabric that you can use when you do fabric types of items, skirts and things like that. And so it's got a stiffness to it, but it's like screen material on a window, right? Only really, really soft. So thank you. I'm glad you like this card. And yeah, so we're going to do something similar to this layout with the pumpkins, the beautiful pumpkins bundle. But first, let me walk you through the bundle. Here it is, homemade treats. Okay, I was looking for you. There you go. So there's the homemade treats stamp set and die set. And you can see how they coordinate. You can see that we have a couple similar dies that will cut out these 3 smallest shapes. So if you wanted to have a bunch of cookie shapes that are, rapidly being produced, so you can put them on your little cookie tray, then you can make multiples and stamp them and then cut several out at the same time. We have the dough, we have the frosting tube, we have the oven mitt and the rolling pin. It's been a while since I've baked. Anyways, let's play around. Let's do a card using these. And I think I'm going to transfer them over to my magnetic sheet, although Stampin' Up! Is having a whole new system soon of how they're going to be packaging stamps and dies, if you haven't heard. So just know that like my system for storage may also change. But at this point, I'm still using these magnetic sheets from Stampin' Storage, and they're amazing. It's the way it works for me to store my stuff. Oops, this is really strong tape, you guys. If you're new to paper crafting, you know that Stampin' Up, we use really good tape on our little storage pieces there that we that you get all your stuff in. So, okay, we have all our pieces here. We've got this sheet, and on the sheet at the bottom here, it says 11 dies. So I'm just gonna check 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I put this one facing that way, and then I stick it into my little envelope. So this is how I store my dies currently. Again, I'm not sure how that's gonna change, but just wanted to point that out to you. Let's open this up, and you can see that we have our stamps and we have our dies, and I've already mounted my stamps that I'm going to be using onto clear blocks. So how do you do that? We just take a stamp, and you can peel these off too. These can come off again. Let me get under there with my fingernail. And then they just store into your case. But for those of you who still have some of these cling mount stamps, because this is another thing that Stampin' Up! Is eventually moving away from. They made this announcement about a month ago. But if you have these and you still haven't figured out how to put them together, you want to take and find the side of your label sheet that has the little opening on them, then peel the whole thing, the actual stamp label and the backings, stick them onto a clear block. Now that you've got these little parts pulled up on the corners, you can take and peel that off easily. You're going to go against a dark background, such as, I don't know, let's just use this magnetic sheet. There. Now this will stand out. You hover this over the top, you line it up, and now you've got your little label on your stamp. And at first you kind of have to get your fingernail or something smooth like the spatula end of the take your pick tool to get under there, but eventually over time it's really easy to stick on and off. All right, so any beginning crafters out there, any of you that have not stamped before, hopefully that helped you to get started on some of these basics. All right, let's take and stamp some pieces on some white scrap paper. So I'm going to pull in just a few scraps. I don't know, I just grabbed some things out of my drawer. We're going to stamp our, let's stamp our, what is this called again? Rolling pin. Thanks, Rachel. Rolling pin and Pretty Peacock. So we can take and ink it up, stamp it down nice and firm without rocking. I say not to rock because you never know if you're going to get ink on the edges here of your stamp, and we don't want to have that happen. Now, let's say you've stamped that and you're like, oh gosh, I don't know if I want to do some, you know, color like that on my actual cookie making supply card. Maybe I want to go with something more realistic, like pecan pie. So you could stamp that, and then you could stamp it again, and then you could take and die cut all of, or both of these, put this one on top in the middle, and your handles could be darker. So cool. Okay, so let's take and pretend that we have stamped all of our images that we need. And I'm going to tell you in order of what I did here. Let's say I have done, just closing up my ink pads here. I've done my candy cane in Poppy Parade. I've done my gingerbread in the pecan pie. So let me show you those colors. Poppy Parade, pecan pie. I've done my little frosting tube in Petunia Pop. Okay. And then the rolling pin, you can see I've done that in the pecan pie or the Pretty Peacock. Done my oven mitt in, say, lemon lime twist, or, oh gosh, Poppy Parade would be a good one, right? Because Poppy Parade, that red and white kind of look. So let's say I've got all of that stuff done. Okay. I'm going to pull all those pieces in. You can see they're all ready to go. I'm going to demonstrate how to die cut for those of you that are beginning crafters, but I just want to show you that I have all my pieces that I want ready to go. That's to save on time. Let's just kind of move these out of the way. This is my only one that I think I've inked up so far. So I'm going to clean that up off to the side here, because we're gonna build 2 cards. We got to keep it clean. Okay. All right, so let's bring in the Stampin' Cut Emboss machine, and I'll just demonstrate quickly how to die cut. So die cutting is something that involves a machine. We have this big machine, and we have the smaller one called the mini Stampin' Cut Emboss machine. But either way, you can do the same thing. With the larger one, you can use larger dies, and you can use larger embossing folders. With the smaller one, you're limited, just so you know. I'm going to bring in some little Post-it flags just to hold the dies in place. We'll grab our rolling pin piece here, and we're going to put it over the light one for now and kind of sticky it in place. And I'm going across in a couple places just to make it kind of stay there a little bit better. For your die cutting, you're going to want to put platform number 1 down. This is number 1. This comes with the machine. Die adapter number 2, and then you need a cutting plate. And it doesn't matter which side of the cutting plate you use. That's why my 3 looks upside down or backwards. And then you need another cutting plate. And I do my scratchy one on the bottom and my clean one on the top, and then eventually over time, I just take that, that scratchy one on the bottom and I get rid of it. So here we have, and you can peel these little guys away. stick them here to hold them. Here we have our rolling pin cut out. So you don't have to like do any fussy cutting with it, you know, to get these little pieces to come out. Now, if you want to do that one idea that I was telling you about, just cut off the handles on this one. And then after you've cut this one out, you can stick this one right on top. And then you can get that light dark look. Kind of cool, right? It looks like it has flour all over it. All right, let's go to the next step. We need to have our sentiment, but our sentiment is going to actually get cut out of our card. So now let's move over to our card base and get all of our stuff cleaned off over here. We need to cut our card base. So we're going to bring in our trimmer, our handy dandy trimmer, and we're going to use a half a sheet of basic white cardstock. And then we need to have a layer on top. When you do a shaker card, you have to sandwich your shaker part between two pieces. Unless you're doing a faker shaker, that's a different kind of shaker. But for most shakers, you want to have two layers, one on the top, one on the bottom, so that your shaker part can be in between. So our base is going to be our bottom, and we're going to go ahead and cut at 5.5 inches. And I have already scored this, but if you want to, you can take and bring your paper in at 4.25, run your light blade through, and that will press in the middle. And now we've got our folded card base. The next piece that we're going to cut is from some really pretty paper. This paper is Everyday Happiness, and it's an online exclusive only paper. In fact, a lot of these products are online exclusive only. If you have only been shopping from the publications that Stampin' Up! Puts out, the catalogs, the mini catalogs, that sort of thing, you're missing out on a lot. You want to make sure that you are checking out the online only items. You're going to go to stampyourartout.com, click on shop, and when you're there, you go to the menu area and choose online exclusives. And it's amazing how many things you're going to find that are just online only items. So this pack of paper, you get 12 sheets, you get 3 different designs, but you get 4 sheets of each double-sided, and they look like this. So you get this flowery look here. This is Lost Lagoon, and I believe that is, oh gosh, what colors do we have in here? We have Gray Granite, Lost Lagoon, Mossy Meadow, Pecan Pie, Pretty Peacock, Very Vanilla, and Wild Wheat. So you can see the wild wheat, that's the goldish color there. Really pretty. And then we have this one. And you get 4 sheets. This is a different kind of pack. 4 sheets of each, double-sided. This is one of my favorite sheets. But we're going to play around with this one because it has that, I don't know, kind of like that tablecloth look to it. And we will cut a couple pieces at 5.5 inches. So we have 5.5 in this direction and 4.25 in this direction. Actually, we're only doing 1 piece for this. I lied. For the second card, you're going to do a couple pieces. For this one, we're just going to do 1. Okay, we have our 5.25 by, or 5.5 by 4.25 inch piece. Next, we're going to lay this on top of our card. It's going to fit perfectly because we use the same measurements. And we're going to use what's called a temporary kind of adhesive. This is my favorite. It's the Herma Transfer type of adhesive. So we're just going to put a little bit in the corners. And that's just to hold it temporarily. So you're going to connect all your pieces like so. And you can do it that way where you stack it and you tap them together, but make sure that all of these edges here are lined up. If you have a little bit that's coming over the edge, you can clean that up too. I'm gonna use my bone folder really quick. Just give this a good crease. And I think I'm gonna shift this. We're gonna shift it so the excess goes on to the right. Oh, you know what? See that? Do you see that there? You can see both sides of or both edges. So this is gonna be our back. There we go. Now this might fit perfectly. And it does. And we're gonna peel off the backing stuff here, all those little temporary adhesive little pieces that came off. Okay, there we go. Now it's cleaned up. We have our paper temporarily adhered to the front. Now we're going to bring in that Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine again. And we're going to grab another set of dies. So the dies that I'm going to use on for the opening are one of my favorite go-tos. And if you're going to invest in any dies, I highly recommend the Stylish Shapes. This is one of the best. You have squares and circles, you have label pieces, lots of things ready to go. We're going to use the square one, and I believe it's the second to the largest. On the other card, I used second to the largest as well, I think. Yes, I did. And for this one, yes. So second to the largest is what I'm choosing. We're going to set up our platform with our die adapter plate, our scratchy cutting plate. And this time, because we're going to be feeding our full card through, a little tip when you're placing a square or any kind of die that has a flat edge, you want to tilt it. So let's lay it on here first. We're going to put it evenly between these two sides because it's going to be a vertical or portrait type of card. So we're going to try to place that in there evenly. We also have the lines of this gingham kind of looking paper, right? So we have that to help us out. And I think I'm going to bring it down just a tad. Okay, so that's where I want it. Now I'll hold it in place. And we don't want to feed it into our machine straight. Right now you can see this line and this line are parallel to the tight rollers that are in there. And it's going to crank and go like over a big hill. It's going to feel kind of clunky. So instead, I'm going to line up all of this and I'm going to tilt the card just slightly. You can see I'm tilting it, but I'm looking at the whole card because the whole card, even the back end that you can't see right now in the video, is within the edges of my cutting plate. Okay, now I'll lay this on top. Excuse me, and we'll feed it through. Not again. Rachel always deals with that in the morning, it seems like. Okay, so you can see what I did. I fed it through, and even this little edge here was not beyond because I didn't want to bend my card as I was cranking it through. So now we have that. We can take these little guys off. And we have cut through both layers, as you can see. Let's move this aside. Just poke that through, and we can, they kind of stuck together just because there's a stitched edge here, but they're not stuck together like adhesive-wise. So let's take those and separate them. I'm going to use this piece. So at this point, I want to bring my trimmer back in, or a very steady hand and a sharp scissors, but we're going to go ahead and cut the edges, the stitched edges off of all four sides. I'm just covering up that dark channel little, you see this is where you cut, and then you have two little edges there, and I'm cutting so that I'm covering up the full channel area. That's about a 1/16 of an inch. So if you're using any other kind of trimmer, you can measure using a 1/16 of an inch. So we're just cutting a 1/16 of an inch off each side. And now we have a square that is going to be slightly smaller than the square that we cut out. Let's grab our pretty peacock pink, and we'll use one more stamp from that set. This stamp looks like this. 'Tis the season for baking. You have other sentiments in here, or you could use something else. You could use Merry Christmas. You could use anything from another set if you want to too. So you could turn this into a Christmas card, or you could just turn it into thinking of you card or whatever. Baking is just fun. You can do it all year long. But what I really thought was fun about this card after I put it together was a lot of us host cookie exchanges, whether we bake together or we just bring baked goods to someone's house and trade them out so that we have a variety of holiday cookies to share. And so this card I thought would be really fun for that kind of invitation. But again, just by changing the words on it or, changing what you write on the inside, you can have a totally different reason for sending this card. So we're inking this up with Pretty Peacock, and we're stamping it down within that white square. Ta-da. Yay. It worked. And then, and that's one of the things, a lot of people are loving the clear stamps. And so I just want to let you know that if you're in love with cling stamps, which are red rubber still, those are going away. So, and I think a lot of it is because, well, the big reason, just so you know, I mean, Stampin' Up! Does respect the fact that cling rubber is a good rubber to use for stamping, but the supplies are going down for it. They're having a harder and harder time finding companies that can produce the red rubber supplies, that not only the red rubber, materials, but other things so that they can keep manufacturing red rubber stamps. So that is the main reason. But another thing is that people are gravitating towards clear stamps because you can see through them. And it's probably why the red rubber stamping industries are kind of dying out. Okay, so, but we did it. We stamped in the right place. And if you didn't, you can always flip it over and try again, or because this is just a square piece of basic white cardstock, you could take and cut it instead. Why did I tilt it? I saw that question just come up now. Again, when you tilt it, and maybe I didn't explain it very well, but if you bring in your cardstock with a die straight into your embossing machine, your die cutting machine, right? It has to, and it's parallel to the rollers that are in there. It's gonna go over the hump all at once. And it's gonna feel like you're going over a hill. It's gonna be hard to crank it first, and then it'll feel like you're falling really fast. But if you tilt it, it just grabs the corner and gradually can grab that whole die. I didn't probably explain it as well as I should have earlier, but that is the reason. It just makes it a smoother die cutting experience instead of a shocking one, okay? So now we have those pieces, and what we're gonna do before we fill in our window, and remember, this is still temporarily adhered. We need to peel that off again, but before we want to fill in the window with the tool shaker portions, we have to add what we want here. If you're gonna do any stamping within your window, let's say you're gonna stamp directly into your window so that you see that image on the outside and the inside, this is the point at which you're gonna do that. Any kind of stamping should be done now. Now on this card here, I did not worry about that because all I did was add paper behind it. But if I wanted to stamp back there, I had to do it before I added this, or it would be really, really difficult to do that. Now I also stamped on a separate piece. So I could technically fill in my tool part here and then slide this and hope that I can get it centered in there just right. But because we still have the window open, we're now gonna use regular adhesive. So I'm using my seal adhesive. You could use tear and tape, you could use glue or whatever. And then you can see, we gotta line it up right. So we gotta find that place where it was, flatten the card all the way down, press that in there, and then this piece can be also added now if you want to, or we can add it later. I'm just gonna set it aside because we know where it's gonna go. It's gonna go completely in the center of that square. All right, we ready for the tool? Let's peel this up. Try not to bend your cardstock. It is gonna bond a little bit more than it normally does with this kind of adhesive because you are pressing it through those rollers to die cut your window. Let's take our, here it is, where it is, there it is. I don't know where it is. Where'd my tool? Oh, here's my tool. Okay, here's the tool that I'm using. It is 6" in, and you can't really see against this. I'm gonna grab some dark cardstock. We'll grab some Mossy Meadow here. You can see it is 6" wide. And our window here is 2 3/8 inches wide. So we technically can use this and fold it over. So I'm gonna show you the fold over technique. We're gonna cut this so that we have our 3 inches. And I'm just gonna use a longer scissors to make it faster here. Okay, and it doesn't even have to be pretty. You can see I don't have like the best perfect edges on there, but you just want to have 6" tool. If you use white tool, it's not going to tint anything behind it. You could get other colors too, but I just recommend the white tool. Okay, next, and you can leave this adhesive here. It's totally fine because you're going to be connecting this layer again later. Next, you're going to take tear and tape adhesive. This is the best adhesive for it, I think, because it presses, it has like a slight cushion to it, so it allows you to kind of press your tool into it. And I'm just going to cut some strips here that are about 3 inches in length, or a little less, I should say. We've got 4 of them. We're going to lay one here, right up to that edge. Lay one here, right up to that edge. And you can see that they're not going completely beyond, but that's why we have 2 more. So let's peel off, and you can use your bone folder to kind of press those in really hard. And then sometimes it's easier to grab the edges of the release paper. You're gonna peel that off. Kind of dig underneath there with your scissors or take your pick tool. Then we can put these on, and I didn't put these on before I peeled because they might overlap a little bit, right? We just want to get right up to those 4 edges so that we can have a great place to hold on to our tool. I'm demonstrating with the square dies instead of the circular dies, because the circular dies, you're going to have to do lots of little pieces of tear and tape, or you're going to have to kind of manipulate it as you go. You know, when you go around the circle, you're going to have to go boink, 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 and kind of bend that tape around in a circular kind of motion. Does that make sense? It's going to have to kind of go like this as you lay it down. And that takes a little bit longer. Let's grab our tool that I have already lost. Oh, here it is. It's so transparent, it's hard to see. But we're gonna take that edge, that top edge, lay it down, keep the tool nice and flat, just treat it delicately and press it in place. Don't tighten it, don't stretch it, just kind of put it in place. Then you're gonna grab your tape again, and you're gonna cut strips. How many of you have done tool shakers before, and how many of you are new to them? I would love to hear your comments. If you've done them before, say before. If you've never done them, say never. Oh, and we're gonna do that here. And you don't really even have to do that one there, but I did. Let's press these along here. Okay, and then this is the hard part, is you just want to make sure that you're not like breaking your tool as you're grabbing your scissors to get underneath the adhesive backing. We have some really fun shaker elements that I'm going to be using on this card, and they have sort of a pastel-y look to them. So I went with pastel coordinating papers. By the way, this tape is probably the most important layer. You want to make sure that you're using tear and tape for sure in this middle layer. Get in there. There we go. Oops, I didn't get it all the way. Hang on. All right, so never, oh, before, lots of nevers. Okay, so at least I'm giving you a new idea to try, right? Again, this is probably the most challenging part, is to get the backing off, which is why we didn't do circular, because can you imagine if I were going to do circular, all the little pieces separately? Again, that one does take a little bit longer. The square window, lots faster. Never, never. Oh my goodness, lots of nevers. You guys have to try this. And tool is pretty inexpensive. I did put a link to where you could buy them on Amazon. I believe this tool I was gifted though, and so I don't have the link for the exact one, but I found a similar one on Amazon. So now you just take and stretch this. But before we do it, we have to lock in our little shaker pieces. So this is ready to go. This is like the step on most like regular shakers where you have that adhesive, you peel it all up, and now we take and we put in the, where is it? Oh, I found it. Okay, here we go. Doing what my upline says. Found it. Okay, so this is the shaker elements we're using. They're called loose shaker elements, and look how pretty. You see the little green dot? This is also an online exclusive only product. Look at, there are really pretty sequins in there, lots of colors, and then we have these tiny little tube-like, they're almost kind of like a little bead or something. I don't know if they're, I don't think they have holes in them. I think they're just tubes. I don't know. My eyesight is not that great anymore. So I'm going to grab a spoon because I want to get a whole bunch of them. I'm going to go down deep, and I'm going to add those to the front. And if you want to, you can open up your full card base so that it doesn't kind of crank open on you and all that stuff falls to one side. But we're going to put maybe about that much in there. Another benefit to tool shakers, instead of using window sheets, is that you don't have the static. There's no static electricity happening right now. I didn't have to use my embossing buddy and kind of like, you know, die down some of that electric kind of cling, because a lot of these pieces want to cling to the plastic in either direction. And when you do a regular shaker, you have some of your sequins sometimes flying where you don't want them. In this case, I do not. This is why tool shakers are awesome again. Okay, we're going to lay this over the top. We're going to gently press it in place and sandwich all of that in. And then we'll do yet another round of the tear and tape. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I could tear it, but it's quicker sometimes when you just cut. So we'll add those two here. We'll do the bone folder trick again. You can see, you can shake it already if you want to, but I would wait until you have these really sealed in. Then we'll come in and we'll grab our backing. Because I have very thin fingernails, I'm kind of using them now instead of the scissors, seeing if that makes it quicker. We'll see. And then these two. If you have a manicured fingernails, then you probably want to use the take your pick tool or the scissors to get under there. Burnish that. Come back in. So 3 layers of tape on the outside, in the middle, and then again on top. Once you have that and you've peeled away, then you can carefully add this paper. So we're going to add it in the corner. Oopsie. And you know what? You can also leave a lot of those backings on there and peel them as you go. But we're just going to do it because I have a feeling we're already kind of running low on time here. Okay, we've added that, but the sides need a little adhesive still. So I'm just going to come in here. I could either use my seal, like down here, I could use my seal adhesive, right? So we'll just demonstrate that really quickly. I could put seal there. I could use my glue, and I could come in and add a little bit of glue right along the edges. But you're just going to do all of those edges again and kind of seal those in place. You can see I'm not pressing anything down yet. Now I am. Okay? It's a great reason to do the tool shakers. And again, they're flat. Like, I just feel a little bit of overlap with the sequins here, but otherwise this card is super duper flat. Look at that. See? They're the best. They are totally the best kind of shakers. Okay. And tulle is much cheaper than window sheets. So there's another bonus. But we have our little shaker element in there. Now we can take and put this piece in if we want to. We can add our gingerbread guy. Let's put him in here. In fact, I'm going to add him with a couple glue dots. So we'll take and put a glue dot on the back of his head, on the back of his body. Did I get that in place? It's kind of off to the side. That's okay. So he's going to go in, and I'm just going to try to do this the same way I did my other layout here. Go in like this. I have a candy cane piece. Let's do another glue dot on that. Sometimes it's easier to just put a glue dot on a tiny piece. And one thing about this one is I can take and tuck it in. Isn't that cute? Oh my gosh. And it's not even done yet. Okay, next, we're gonna take and play around with some ribbon. So I have a couple really shiny ribbons, and I wanna show you with my sharp scissors, the one that I've tied a ribbon to, that you can do what a lot of paper crafters that love to do artsy cards do. They take and they cut through the center, down the center of ribbons like this. And it makes them skinnier pieces. It makes them have a little bit of fraying to them because you're kind of ruining the seam, right? So there's a little bit of extra thread when that happens, a little fraying, but it also gives you a more delicate type of ribbon to work with. So we're just going to tie in a little bow here. And you can see how that looks, kind of twisting it around, giving it a little manipulation. And now you have a more delicate looking little bow. We're going to take Petunia Pop and about 10 inches of, this is our linen thread. And we're going to cut at 10 inches. We're going to bring our 2 strands together. And in the middle, now we're going to tie together our half wide Petunia Pop ribbon piece with our linen thread. So I've tied them together. Now I need to kind of see where everything is. Okay. And then pull on the ends to adjust the length. But you can see it gets kind of a little rough, fun. I probably should retie that, but you can see what happens is you get this more kind of a, I don't know, fabric-y, texture-y kind of bow because you have the linen thread in there. Makes it earthier. All right, so let's just set that aside and know that I'm going to add that later, but I've got a few other elements I want on the front of the card. I've got my rolling pin, and here they are. I've got my dimensionals. These are like little mini dimensionals. We'll put a couple on the back side of the rolling pin and just center that down in here. I think I want to turn it this way because I love that little swirl there. And then for this one, we'll put a couple big ones on here. We'll put one on the back towards the loop end where you hang your oven mitt on the hook. And then we'll put one, I think down in here should work too. Okay, so now we'll peel off the backings and we'll lay that down. And I've left this little area clean here because I don't want the dimensionals, the adhesive part, to show through the window. And it's okay if there's like a little white back there, but I didn't want like anything sticky going through there. And on this one here, we're gonna put maybe a couple small ones. Oh, this is the one. Okay, so I want to show you what happened here. So I did a color that I thought was too light, and so I flipped it over and I cut it out again. But what happens is if I were to stick this on here, I would see that through on the other side, which is fine, but then it's not really consistent with my other one too. So I'm actually not going to stick this on my card permanently, but this one I would put up here with a tiny dimensional, stick that up here, put this on with a glue dot, and that look is very similar to this look here. And that's why I brought out all those different colors, because I wanted you to know that there were options with colors, right? Okay, so this one has the lemon lime twist, this has the pecan pie, and then under here is the Lost Lagoon ink. Lost Lagoon is the same color as this color here. I think, oh, and then I added just a couple little drops, tiny, tiny drops with the precision tip. I put a tiny little drops there and then stuck on some extra sequins. So, and the nice thing about these holders from the Country Hive is you can keep your glue right to the top of your glue holder to keep it nice and fresh. But that's the inside of that card. And then I'll finish this one up with a better bow and a better little frosting tube. Okay, the next card is the pumpkin one. So here's my pumpkin one. And for the pumpkin one, I have 3 other ink colors that I haven't mentioned yet. Gorgeous Grape. Why did I use Gorgeous Grape? Because purple and orange just look really good together. I don't know why I used it, because it was fun. Oh, I know why. Because when you look at the shaker elements, you can see all kinds of different colors in there, and I wanted a darkish color, and I thought the purple looked pretty cool. So I didn't want to use Lost Lagoon or Pretty Peacock. So instead of like a bluish green, I went to a purpley color that you can see in those sequins. And I stamped on a piece that looks like this. So it is, and I'm going to give you the right measurements, 5/8 of an inch tall. I stamped on there with my sentiment from the kit Beautiful Pumpkins. Now with Beautiful Pumpkins, you can see right through as you're stamping because it's photopolymer. It's totally clear stamping. So when you stamp that on your 5/8 inch tall paper, you can easily get it centered in there. And then you take and you center it on here. You can use little sticky notes again, like Post-it flags or whatever, and hold it in place to one side or the other so that that strip doesn't move on you. And then you can take and slice through it, and you have 2 equal pieces that are nice and narrow. Then, once you've done your shaker element in between, like I've already shared with you, you can stick this paper back on. This is the circular one, so it's going to take a little bit longer to manipulate that tear and tape around there, get it all sandwiched in. But now we're going to decorate it, right? So you have this strip, and you're going to put that on here with a glue dot on one side and a glue dot on the other side so that there's no glue that will show through on the back side, right? You don't want any glue back there, so you want a glue dot way over here and here. And you could trim it shorter if you want to. It doesn't have to be that long. It's just a strip. And then the other one is going to glue on the opposite side. Like let's say I glued it here, you want to glue it on the opposite side. So you want them to hide each other on the card. Then I took and cut out my pumpkins. So I stamped my pumpkins. I have 2 different colors here, and this is where I needed this bigger paper, I think. So we're going to use our Stamp and Pierce mat because that gives a good cushion for photopolymer stamps. We're going to use our more solid of the 2, and we're going to stamp with our lightest color. So even though on a container like this, with 2-step stamping to get a really deep type of image, this looks like it's supposed to be the darker color, but you typically want to stamp that one in the lighter color. So we're going to open up Peach Pie. We're going to ink up our solid stamp with Peach Pie, stamp it down. Make sure that when you press it, it looks like all the ink has clung to the paper. There's our Peach Pie pumpkin, but we want to give it more depth. So now we're choosing Timid Tiger, and we're going to ink up this stamp, and we're going to stamp it down. And for that, I kind of have to be over the top of it, so hang on a minute. I'm going to bring it towards me just a little bit. I'm lining up the bottom edges because that I thought was the easiest, and then impressing it in place. And you can see already it's got some depth to it as it stamps down. Press it in place, lift it off, and then let it dry, and then you can die cut around it with the coordinating dies. So these are the dies. You'll just cut that out. You'll stamp the stem, and you'll die cut that out. There's the stem. I did that with pecan pie, and I did it twice. So I have 1 pumpkin and a stem, and 1 pumpkin and a stem. And these also have that same thing where I had the back of my pumpkin is there. So I made sure that this one kind of covered up that little circular area so that they look all lined up. Doesn't have to be perfect. The beautiful little foliage that you have on here is from this die. You also have a stamp, but they're not the same, just so you know. You can stamp this, but this isn't a frame type die, so it's not going to die cut that out. So instead, I just took some Mossy Meadow cardstock, this beautiful color here, cut it out, and then cut it in half so that I had one side and the other side, like 2 separate pieces. You can see I just cut it right through the middle here. And then I used my fine little precision tip glue to help connect the ends underneath the pumpkin, behind the stem, Okay, so they're just connected by one little part with a little bit of glue, tied a knot in my linen thread, although I could have done that same technique where I added this pretty ribbon in there too, just to add a little touch more of sparkle. But that is how I put together that card. There's nothing back here. There's nothing back there except for the paper. So instead of having that circle that I cut out just kind of placed behind there in a little kind of circle hovering, I just said, I'm going to just coat that paper, that basic white paper, with one more layer of the same paper that I have on the front here. So that is why I told you on the pumpkin one, you'll want to cut out 2 designer paper layers, one for the inside and one for the outside. It just kind of gives you a sparkly little floating shimmer around your pumpkin by making it look like it's still on the same background, right? But you have all these little sparkly things shaking around it. When you open it up, it also tells you, do not write here. Yeah. So if this paper wasn't here, if it was just a white little circle behind there, first of all, I think it would look kind of funny to have a little white circle there, but then people might be tempted to write in their card, and then you see all of that writing through the window when you wanted to see the front of the card, the artistry of the front of the card instead. So this forces you as a card maker to now do your signature, any notes that you want on the top part of your card instead of the bottom inside, which it doesn't happen too often, right? Most of the time we think, oh, we have to sign our card down here, but you can sign your card wherever you want. You can sign it on the back, you can sign it on here or here. And on this card, where did it go? On this one, you could even put a typed out invitation to baking, to come and bake, on the back side. You could put a little arrow down here that, you know, indicates, hey, flip the card over so you can see the invitation to the party. So many great ideas, right? So much fun. I'm going to put all of these shakers out here so you can see them. Oops, there's that one. This was from several years ago with Paper Pumpkin. We're having a sale tomorrow. I got to tell you about the sale. It's a Stamptacular sale. I love that title. So Stampin' Up! Is going to have all their stamp sets, except for the ones that are on last chance, but all their stamp sets that are normally in the store, not last chance ones, just so you know, those are going to be on sale for 15% off. So if you've had some stamp sets, if you've been eyeing some stamp sets that you really, really, really want to get, you can get them for 15% off tomorrow. It's a 24-hour sale. So you just, again, go to my website, stampyourart.com, click shop. It'll take you directly to shopping through me. If you are a demonstrator, shop from yourself. You get your automatic discount plus the 15% off. Yay. And if you have a demonstrator that you're already supporting, shop from them, share the love. Another thing that's and tools. I'm sorry, it's stamps and tools. So stamp sets and then stamp tools. And I'm not sure what all tools are related to that. So some people have been emailing me asking, and I don't know. They're going to share the list with us tomorrow. So just wake up early and shop. And it is while supplies last, 24-hour sale. Thank you. Another announcement is that if you are watching my videos and you live in a country where Stampin' Up! Is not sold, and I can tell you, many of you have reached out to me in the past. So I'm stinking excited to announce to you that you can now shop Stampin' Up! Products if you are in a country that allows it, okay? So there is a link on my blog post. I'm going to take you to my blog right now. So we're going to go over there. I'm going to make this go away, make this come up. Hang on. Do not look behind the curtains. All right, new incognito window. We are ready to roll. I'm going to bring you over to my computer, and we're going to just go to my website where I have the blog posts from today. Here it is, homemade treats. Yes, the blog post is already live, so you can take here, you can click on that tutorial little PDF sheet and download it. Here's the measurements again. Here are pictures, photographs of all the cards. And then if you scroll to the second little message, it doesn't have an image next to it. I couldn't find one that I thought was cute enough last night. But this is where the announcement is. And you can click on this little spot here and it will give you the full details. So let's say you live in Mexico and you want to buy Stampin' Up! Product. You can shop from me. You can shop from any demonstrator as long as, you know, you're following the rules that's on that sheet. You have to have the stuff delivered to an address that is within that zone. So let's say I'm a demonstrator in the US. The product has to get shipped to an address in the US, but there are like distribution type places you can contact a friend or whatever. But it's no longer making that friend buy for you and then you buying from that friend, which is kind of the workaround that we've done in the past. You can buy now. It's so cool. Okay, so spread the news to your friends who live in other countries where Stampin' Up! Is not currently selling. All right, and then another announcement that I want to tell you about since we are here, here's that 15% off announcement. But another announcement is that we're going to have an advent calendar that's coming out soon. This advent calendar is not an official advent calendar, as I've been told, but 12 days of Christmas kind of countdown thing with product that is exclusive to this product. So if you want to purchase this product for yourself, for friends, so that you can get together and craft together, or you can open windows together. So it's a countdown to Christmas, 12 days of Christmas in an advent calendar style. Every window, and this is like a massive, look at how big this is compared to her hands. It's a massive container. It'll be available on September 23rd for purchase. But you open a window each day and you get dies, papers, stamps, embellishments. Like this stuff is all exclusive stuff. It's going to be fun. And then the last little announcement that I want to remind you all of is that World Card Making Day is around the corner. It's October 4th. It's a day where a whole bunch of card makers around the world just set aside time to create cards and send cards. And so this free event is something that you can sign up through with Stampin' Up! You're just going to click, oh, I don't have a clickable part. I'm gonna have to change that. So let's go to the online store. Let's just go to Shop, Online Store. I'm gonna show you how to get there without my little button that I have, but you're going to scroll to where it says Card Making Day, or you can go under What's New, and then you can go to World Card Making Day, and it'll take you to this page, and you have a register button. It's free to participate. You don't get supplies mailed to you. If you want to actually craft along with the same products, you buy that kit, but the suggested kit. But otherwise, you can participate in just being there and seeing the ideas that are shared. It's a free event. And I encourage you to sign up because I think there's a gift that's given too. So pretty darn cool. The upcoming lives that I have for you are, and let me go to my calendar now so I can tell you. Oh, I already told you about them. So make sure that you tune in. This Saturday at 2, next Wednesday at 11, and so on and so on. There is a calendar link in every live video description I have now. You can click on that calendar. You can see when I'm going live. And then YouTube membership. I have just been talking nonstop because I started late and I'm ending late, and I'm so sorry about that. But I do want to mention that there are a lot of viewers that we had today, and I love it because your names stand out. You have little rhinestones next to your name. That means that these are my supporters. These are the people that support my channel monetarily, either with 99 cents per month or $5.99 per month. The $5.99 tier allows you to get an extra video, a live video per month. Plus more. It's been a busy summer, so the plus more has kind of been absent for a while, but I'm telling you, I'm coming back to it. And then the 99 cents per month just is like a supporting amount, and it helps to pay for, technology. I got a microphone now that works better. I can actually go to the back of my room and I can talk at the same volume and you can still hear me, and I can do a little dance over here. So I love the microphone now because it allows me, if I forget something in the back of my room, not to have to scream at you because my other microphone was only stationed up here at the desk. So thank you for supporting my channel in that way. And they also get little perks because of it. Their names are on my channel going across, and they get the little rhinestones, they get extra emojis, their names stand out, and I love them. So thank you so much for supporting my channel. If you can't support monetarily, I still would love it if you subscribe, like, share, all of that good stuff. That really helps my channel out too. So thank you, everybody. Let's give a big hand to Trisha Josephs, who I forgot to announce at the beginning of my video. She is my moderator, and oh my gosh, I'm so embarrassed I forgot to say her name at the beginning, but she is the one who has been coming through in the feed with all of that extra information. I love her, and I forgot to... That's what happens when you start late, you forget things. But thank you so much, Trisha, for being here with us and answering people's questions and guiding us in the right direction with all those helpful links. I will let you all go. I hope you had fun today. I hope you learned and got some creative inspiration. Now I'd like you all to go and stamp your art out. Bye-bye.